Alexia, find me an exorcism.
Oh, they look like a weapon.
We had like Snoop Dogg doing a count-in for us.
Be careful when you Google cupping.
Welcome to the 11tylife podcast.
Hey guys, Matt here. It is Friday. If you are downloading this podcast on the day it comes out, and I hope you have incredible things planned for your weekend. I really do mean that because I'll probably be spending most of mine mowing the lawn, which is not the most fun way to spend a weekend. However, I will also be working on brand new eleventyseven material. For those of you who are following along with our band, we have a brand new B-Sides EP coming out that we cannot wait to share some more information with you about. All of these songs are going to be ones that we considered putting on our latest album, Rad Science, and for some reason they didn't make the cut, but I've been having so much fun tightening up these sessions and finishing some of these songs. I can't wait for you to hear them, just like I can't wait for you to hear the guest on this week's podcast. This week we have Columbia, South Carolina's very own Glass Mansions on the show. And let me tell you something, if you're not from the South, you probably don't know the joy of sitting around drinking sweet tea and just talking about all of the weird shit that is Southern culture. We certainly got to do a little bit of that. That's not why you listen to the podcast. You want to hear about band stuff. I know, I get it. This week we talked to Jana and Blake from the band Glass Mansions, and gosh, this was such a fun conversation I got to have with them. Everything from witches' curses to Myrtle Beach to self-discovery to navigating the weird landscape of South by Southwest, the inner turmoil that happens within a human when they're on tour, the constant hustle that is life on the road and figuring out where to get coffee. If you don't love their band now, you will by the end of this conversation because they are quite charming. Hey, before we get started, do me a favor, open your Spotify app, type in eleventyseven, and follow us. While you're there, go ahead and follow Glass Mansions because you're gonna wanna know whenever they're putting new music out. I love promoting the work of different people and acts within our musical community, and I promise you will not be disappointed if you follow them. Speaking of which, for all of you who are enjoying the show right now, there is no better way to help support our podcast than clicking on the follow button in your Spotify app. If you've already clicked the follow button and your desire to support our podcast is still left unsatiated, head on over to the Rock Candy Recordings online store. T-shirts, merch, stickers, buttons, vinyl, CDs, everything that you want. It's right there, and it's the quickest way for you to support this podcast, to support our band, to support the musical community of the world at large. I know you love doing it. You're that kind of person. Yes, I am in a particularly chipper mood today. I woke up this morning and I just started making fruit smoothies and I have not stopped since. I know that I'm headed for a sugar crash here very, very soon. Please forgive my enthusiasm. A huge thank you to everyone who is joining our brand new 11tylife Facebook group who wants to connect with other 11ty fans and 11ty family. It's an amazing and super cool community for people, and we love having 11tyseven be something that just facilitates conversation and friendship and love, and also weird unicorn obsessions. You can find links to everything I just mentioned in the show notes. You know how I get long-winded if I sit in front of this microphone for too long. So without further ado, here is today's episode. Yeah, you're pretty high right now.
Oh, check.
Yeah?
I
Okay.
feel like that SNL skit. Yeah.
Which one?
The like sweaty balls one with Alec Baldwin. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh my gosh. I'm a little hot. That'll be annoying after a while. Is one of the ears
Sarah,
out?
this one is.
I think it might just be like that.
Okay.
It might just be one of the things, yeah.
I thought it was my ear.
Oh.
Because that one didn't
You thought
pop.
your
I didn't
actual
know.
ear
There's
was out?
I mean, there was a...
I don't know what it is. Like I can't, you know how there's always like those headphone splitters? I've bought 20 pair of them. They never split correctly. They're always fucked up in some way.
Yeah.
Or they'll go out. Yeah, it's sad. It's like, come on, Hosa.
Oh,
You're
like
the
if
only
you're trying
company
to run a
that
click
makes these
and then
things.
the bleed is there.
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hate that. Oh yeah, because you guys probably run a ton of tracks live.
Yeah.
Okay.
We used to run it with a click before when we had a drummer, and then now we just kind of hope and pray.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Have you guys ever had one of those? So like we had this situation happen at a couple of festivals where like when 11ty was doing a bunch of shows, we played at this festival. You know, we cue our intro track or whatever it is. I can't remember. It's maybe some like ELO thing or some Britney Spears song or whatever, some dumb shit. And then we get super pumped. You know, we're all high-fiving each other side stage and just like super stoked to get out here and make this thing happen. And then for some reason, like our whole intro sort of culminates into this thing, and we're so pumped, and like the crowd is really pumped. They don't even care what band it is. They're just like, wait, we're ready to have a good time. And we get out there and it's like, all right. It was probably somewhere like in Ohio or whatever. Like, Ohio, you ready to rock? Or, you know, some generic bullshit thing they say like that. And all of a sudden, like, we're ready to light in, and you just threw gigantic PA speakers out in the middle of nowhere, Ohio. You just hear boom, boom, boom,
No, wait, the classic click.
So like I don't know why like the intro played correctly, and then whenever it was ready to happen, it just
that's
something
happened to
happened.
us too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The New Year's Eve show we played.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It was like a 1, a 2.
Oh yeah, because we had like Snoop Dogg doing a count in for us. We like had put that into the track.
Where was this? Was this in Colombia?
Was this?
Yeah.
Yeah, was this the Music Farm?
The Music Farm New Year's Eve show.
Yeah, because we wanted to do like the epic kind of like
I don't know.
intro.
I don't think
and
anyone
everything,
heard
too.
it, or maybe they thought it was part of it.
They might have that just thought it was part of it, but yeah. So we have like part of our click, and then the 4 count before we start is like Snoop Dogg, like 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, and
1,
then
2, 3, and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so everyone just heard that, and I guess they thought, you know, we had a guest on stage with us, you know, like a guest
They
appearance.
were like, "Oh shit, Snoop Dogg!" No, they didn't recognize it all.
Yeah, like,
Oh
who is
my
this?
gosh.
How'd they get this guy? Wow, best New Year's Eve ever. And then they were let down, of course, but you know.
Like all our shows.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Well, and that's not true. I've seen you guys play before. Yeah, I don't know if you were fishing for that or not, but
Self-deprecation is my
for
gift.
everybody that listens to the podcast regularly, I think I can trace the lineage here of how we ended up in the room. What was it? 2011, I think, is like one of the last years that 11ty ever toured. And we played with your band when it was Death of Paris.
Yeah.
In Spartanburg, South Carolina, I think. Do you guys remember that
The
show
spring
at all?
fling. The spring fling.
We played that, yeah, but then after that we played the Hey Look Festival.
Oh, yes.
Oh, did we play that together?
That was with
Yeah.
Jelly Rocks.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I don't think I knew until we saw you on stage, and we were like, "What?"
Wait a second. That's that guy.
oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did I miss your set there, or did I see
I think
it?
we played almost the same time. I think
Oh.
we finished right before you or something. I think.
Oh yes, because that's when you guys had the full band.
Yes.
Going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
cool.
Spartanburg, that was wild too.
That was. Yeah.
It does seem kind of bizarre looking back on it now. Like of all the places in America,
Yeah.
Spartanburg booked our bands to come play downtown.
And they never booked us again.
Us either. I don't know what they were expecting. If they were just like these kids look like kids of today, and so we're just gonna book them. Like I have to imagine. Like I don't know what the inner workings of like Spartanburg is as far as the entertainment scene goes,
Yeah.
but. Yeah, I hear they're getting better. Like our drummer now does like a bunch of singer-songwriter stuff in Spartanburg, and I think he mentioned, I could be wrong, and he could be bullshitting me because he gets a few drinks in and who knows what he's going to say. But I think they're paying people to busk in Spartanburg now to like up the cultural points. Whoever's keeping track of that, I don't know.
Really?
I don't know who, but
They're paying them to
Is that
bus?
like-
I think they are.
Where do you apply for that?
Yeah. Is that like getting a guarantee and then like tips on top of it?
I think
You know?
maybe they give you,
You
like
can make money in a band?
Yeah, like an hourly rate.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing because like here
Write
we
that
are
down.
jealous of places like Canada that give these,
They just throw money at
yeah, they get these
bands.
grants and stuff. for
That's the
musicians.
impression that I get.
Yeah.
The impression I get is that it's so much easier to win a Juno than a Grammy. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but it's like it's not like because we live in America, we all of a sudden are like, oh, we're more likely to win a Grammy. No, the pool's too deep. Like there's no way that we can float to the top in that way, like for that sort of a stuff. But it seems like really fun people win Junos all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys follow the follow the Canadian music award scene at all.
No, but I think we need to apply somehow.
Yeah.
I think you have to be like Canadian.
I'll figure it out. I can do dual citizenship.
They're taking us in droves right now. I mean,
sure
ever
they are.
since Trump got elected, they're like, yeah, it's amazing.
See, so
We need like the Disney Fast Pass into Canada.
yes, can we do that?
Can we skip the line? How do you sign up for that?
We probably need to actually like play there first before,
Details.
So what was the most, so you guys had that thing happen at the New Year's Eve show. What was your most embarrassing situation that you ever found yourself in live?
Kicked a shoe off in someone's face once.
Oh.
And then
Was
I
that
think
House
she
of Blues?
cursed me. Yeah.
Oh.
That's where it started.
No.
But I mean, it's a long story. Like
Well,
I don't even know if there's
but
time
I think
for
this
it.
is very relevant to now. I mean,
Yeah, no, I did. I had a shoe fall off and it hit this girl in the face. And
It's the shoe's fault.
yeah,
entirely.
it wasn't. Yeah. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay, then I'm getting sued. And then she was like, oh, this is awesome. She was all about it.
yeah. Did
And then
you
we
like?
made friends. And then she was like an astrologer or maybe a witch or something. And
You're right.
and then things got weirder. And then my life got bad after that. This is a thing we've actually been
What?
talking about lately.
Yes.
That sounds so
But I
interesting.
don't think it's from the shoe. I don't know.
We really got to
Maybe it
figure
was
this
from the
out.
shoe.
Back up.
Yeah.
But she might be listening. She
So-
might even know what she already knows what I'm going to say next.
Well, you know what? All we can say is no names, and if we accidentally say names, I'll edit them out later. Safe space. I need you to back up and tell me how this originated. Where's the show that you're playing?
It was at House of Blues in Myrtle Beach.
House
Yeah.
of Blues in Myrtle Beach,
Yeah.
and then you guys are like what, halfway through your set, beginning of your set?
It's like the middle.
Okay.
Well, halfway through the set.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're just like feeling it,
Yeah, I don't know.
and you high kick.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
imagining
and
this
like slow
happening.
mo.
Right.
Yeah. And it just flew off and it hit her in the face. I watched it in slow motion bounce off her face. Actually. And she came up to us afterwards and she was like, that was amazing. That was so rock and roll. And I was just like, we do that. We do that. I tried to like play it off like it's a thing we do at all
Right.
our shows.
Would you
know?
mind signing
we
this?
pick one lucky fan.
waiver?
We
I know I've already got like the footprint on my face from when you kicked your shoe onto me, but that's going to go away eventually. I hope not. But so can I take the shoe as well? If the shoe fits, that's what
Yeah.
you gotta, yeah.
Yeah, but she was actually like someone in the music industry that happened to be there, and it was a really weird, strange friendship we had with her after that. And she was like an astrologer, and
Yeah.
she would like call me randomly and be like, "Hey, you need to do this by this date," and like, but she would just like call me and tell me like what.
Oh, so you guys
News
actually
or-
exchanged information.
Yeah.
This is
She
like
actually
okay.
had-
She was like,
she
"No,
had
this
us
was
over.
a sign. Like this shoe in my face was a sign."
Well, yeah. Well, she was living nearby, right? And,
Yeah, we don't really know. She just kind of appeared in our life, and then,
yeah.
What is
and
a
then
music
exited.
industry person doing in Myrtle Beach? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
vacationing, or does she live there full time?
stop
or-
to use the restroom.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think she wanted to get as far away from the music industry as possible.
Right.
That's
But she wanted to go where no one else was. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
She was like, I just want to hear Margaritaville on repeat.
Jen
and,
and I are from Myrtle Beach, so everything makes sense here. I think,
I had no idea that was true.
Yeah.
That's like your hometown.
Yeah. We're actually both born and raised there, but
Mhm.
we didn't know each other until college. But we went to like kindergarten together.
Okay, so what is that like growing up on the beach? Like, I would assume, especially like early, maybe like 80s or 90s when you guys were growing up,
Yeah.
the impression I get is that Myrtle Beach was probably a little musically starved in terms of like having a scene, like a music scene there that wasn't like
Well,
shows.
Actually, no, like high school, middle school and high school, it
Mhm.
was lit.
Yeah.
As they say.
Oh, tell me about this.
I mean, there was a really good music scene. I'm a little older than Blake, but there was like this place called Slacker 77. There was the Lazy Eye, which moved around and became
the Limelight.
the Limelight, and then it moved somewhere else. Like Michael Wood from Something About Vampires and Sluts. Like, and
Yeah.
he was a real big player in the music scene there. And there was so many good shows at House of Blues.
Then,
Yeah, it was incredible.
yeah. So like those shows you'd go see at House of Blues, and then
Well,
they
yeah,
inspired you to
Because
be
it's
in your
interesting
band,
too.
and then go play at these local
Yeah.
clubs.
Yeah,
and,
Because I remember I saw No Doubt played. It was their like Rock Steady tour, but The Faint opened.
Oh my
The
gosh.
Faint opened
The
for
Faint
them.
opened for No Doubt.
And
Yeah.
but I never even like
Take my money.
I never even heard like that kind of music and in real life and like in person before.
Yeah.
And that totally changed the course of it for me because I was just like, what is this?
Was The Faint a big band for you? Because
Then,
they were a huge
in that
band for
moment,
me.
it was everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was everything.
'Cause I was
it
gonna ask you
was
about
a Dance
that.
Macabre like tour. Yeah. And they played Pose to Death. And I like lost my mind. I was just like, what even is this? Like, I had to know.
It was because then it was so much more than just music on stage. There was like this energy there that may have been like sexual, and it was like
not maybe, absolutely.
Well,
was.
I mean, yeah, but it was definitely had those kind of vibes,
Yeah, it was. I don't know, it was awesome. But
So
seeing
you guys
it live,
were both at this show at the same time?
I don't think you were. I mean, I don't know. You might have been.
I may have.
I don't know why. I
been.
just assumed you weren't. I didn't see you there. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I didn't see you there, so how do I know you were there? I was entranced. I may not,
Yeah, or we've just discovered a rip in the universe. Anyway, I had no idea that The Faint ever toured with No Doubt. I don't know why that would have been so far off my radar that I wouldn't have. And in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Gosh, that's so cool. So that was a pretty important show for you.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the most important show? Was there another moment that was sort of like that? Or I think everybody most people that come on the podcast kind of have this experience where the light comes on and they see something and it kind of changes their perspective. And all of a sudden, like doing what's happening on stage becomes necessary and possible. And like, I don't know, it's almost like your life trajectory just either shifts or opens up. Was that moment?
Yeah, I mean, I was really into music. Like, I mean, I told my parents, like, I was like 4 years old and I was obsessed with Mariah Carey. And I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be Mariah Carey someday. I was like, I want to be a singer. Like, I want to be in a band. And I don't know. It was always a dream for me. I don't know where that came from. And then starting to see shows live, I was always just, this whole spectacle of it was just amazing. But then seeing The Faint, that was like different. It was totally different for me. But I was into like Savage Garden and like Garbage, but I'd never seen electronic music like that.
Yeah. Done live.
Yeah. So
That's
that
cool.
was definitely a game changer. But also like, I mean, several years later, I mean, that was like in middle school or something. But then like in high school, I saw Gavin DeGraw play there, which is random. But it was like his first tour, his headlining tour, and there was nobody there. There was like 60 people there. And like he came off the stage and like played on the floor. But it was like one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
Because it was so just amazing. Like you're at House of Blues, it's like whatever 1,000 capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And he had like, I Don't Want to Be was on the radio, but I don't know. The fact that he broke the wall and came out, that I was like, well, if I want to be a musician, I want to do shit like that.
Yeah. So was it the connection aspect of it? Was I could be up here.
It was
I
about the
don't
music. Yeah. It was like he was just down in the pit with everybody, just trying to like play his songs and have that moment. And it was like really intimate. And I have friends that were there that I'm still friends with now. And it was just like a really magical thing. Like, yeah,
that's so awesome.
Those are big. And then Jimmy Eat World there for the Bleed American tour was like one of my favorite shows of all time.
All these shows are happening at the House of Blues in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
Gosh.
It was,
Who would think?
Because I mean, there used to be shows just constantly. And there were a lot of local bands too. And then I moved to Columbia for college and then everybody else moved. Like I went back and it was ghost town. I don't really know what happened.
Did you start bands sort of in high school? Did you kind of move in and out of those then? Or was it more in college?
Yeah, well, I wanted to be in a band in high school. I was dating a guy that had a band, and I kind of convinced him to let me like fake that I could play keyboard on a couple songs so that I could sing with him. And we did like Semisonic Closing Time.
Yeah.
We covered like a Yeah song, and I don't know. That was my first introduction into like playing live. But it wasn't serious at all. Blake was in a lot of different stuff.
Well, I mean, I grew up listening to so much pop punk music, and it was such a big influence on, just writing styles and everything. And so that was my main thing, was having a band like that in high school. And, I found another guitarist and a drummer to play, and I was going to play rhythm, have another guy play lead. So we needed a bassist.
Was that your brother?
And that's how, my brother actually took up learning bass guitar.
just to be in your band.
Yeah.
I thought
Gosh.
he started learning bass because he got grounded all the time.
Well, no. He was gonna be a bassist first, and he learned how to be good at bass from being grounded all the time.
Right.
He's never allowed out, and so he just sat in his room and just looked up
I'm glad.
tabs
He's
and just.
sick. He's such a sick bassist.
He is now. I mean, he's been great, and so born out of necessity of needing a bassist.
That's so awesome. So have you always sort of been the guy on the phone calling everyone, setting up times, sort of like managing expectations, making things happen, or?
Yeah, I'd say yeah.
Because every band has that person.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of people that like can add to the band, but there's really few people that are like, hey, let's everybody come over and let's like, here's our goal.
Yeah.
Like we need to know 3 songs by the end of this rehearsal, or we really have to put together a recording schedule, or we have to put together a budget, or we want to go play shows, or we have to do booking, and like, and that turns into like craziness. And you guys are just 2 people. How did those sort? And I haven't forgotten about your witch story yet. I'm just like letting us marinate in it for a second so you can remember all the juicy details. But yeah, like what is that like? Just split between 2 people. What do those responsibilities sort of look like?
I think anything now. Now,
I don't know where to start with that.
Well, we realized really quickly after downsizing to a 2-piece that we were doing all that at work anyway.
Yeah,
and now when it came time to do like writing for more songs or anything like that, we just only had to factor us 2 in it.
Yeah, I mean, like our whole story as a band, like he was in a band, and they needed to submit a demo for about the bands, and the singer that they had like flaked out, and he knew that I sang, and I had been fired from a band that I was in that day. So a couple hours later. Yeah.
That day.
Yeah, this guy was trying to do this like Regina Spektor kind of project, and I was singing on it, and then his girlfriend, he had this crazy girlfriend that was just like, you guys aren't practicing, you're running off to do stuff, or like just so stupid. She said that.
Yeah.
She just thought we were like having this crazy romance on the side, and it was not like that. And so she called and fired me, and I was like, okay, like
what does she have to do with any of?
I was like, all right, like that's
the girlfriend fired you.
Yeah, she called and fired me.
Oh,
did that not make you feel like the guys in the band were kind of shitty for letting that happen, or did they know?
Yeah, I don't know. It happened really fast, because then like within an hour, he was like, man, I really want to play this ballad band. Like I can't get in touch with whoever the singer was, I won't say. And and that guy flaked out on them, and he was like, well, maybe you could sing it. And I was like, I know we're friends, but like I don't even listen to your music. I don't even know what your songs are. And so I like learned it really quick and sang it and recorded it at USC, and then they submitted it and they got it.
Yeah, because I was part of the radio station there, and we had access to like a Studio B there where we could track.
Oh my God, I love that.
So that was like the way we could do this demo. We're just going to do like a 3-song demo to have something to submit, because you had to have material to submit to enter. And, we had the instrumental done. We're just waiting to track vocals now. And guy wouldn't pick up the phone. And I'm like,
they had like a deadline. It had to be submitted by end of day.
Yeah, we had to have this in. And I'm like, Jana, look, we have lyrics written. Can you just, I know you sing. Can you just?
And I'd never really sang, like, except for in high school. I mean, I was in like chorus and stuff. But
was there like a melody written too, or did you like come in and top line everything to the song?
Yeah, no, I mean, like the song was totally written, everything. I just recreated kind of what they already had. Yeah, like that was really my first time ever recording anything too. So it was really scary, because I didn't want to sing in front of everyone. I had to like Dennis. I would only let like their bass player in the room, and it's weird now because that guy Dennis, he's won like several like Chinese Grammys or whatever they have. Like he's like,
oh yeah,
huge
he like
over
lives
there.
he like lives over there now.
Chammies, Chinese Grammys.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then I joined that. I ended up joining that band because of that, and then that band broke up, and he and I kept writing to like cope with not really knowing what to do, and then we discovered we were a good writing team, and that's when we started Death of Paris. We recorded our first album, just the 2 of us, and then we came back and found
the band,
several different guitarists. His brother was in and out, other bass players. Every drummer in South Carolina has probably played in our band at some point.
all 5.
All 5 of them.
All 5 drummers in South Carolina.
Yeah, and so then we kind of found some people that were working enough to keep going. And then we were moving forward with Glass Mansions, and then even those relationships got really sour and really toxic, and we were already doing all the work, and it felt unfair that we were already doing so much, but not being able to express ourselves in like the creative, like in the true vision that we wanted, because we were trying to like please our bandmates because we felt like we needed them. And then we were like, well, I guess we don't really fucking need them. And because we started demoing out stuff that didn't have room for them to play on. And whoops. And so here we are. But so we still manage everything ourselves. Like, I love booking shows. I love it. And because I'm an Aries. I don't know. I like the challenge of stuff, and I like planning, and I like routing, and it's just
logistics.
I love it.
Yeah, like
I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed with it. And so I'll like book the venues. He'll book the bands, and we'll plan everything out. And yeah, I usually do pass off the dirty work on him though, just to give him something to do. I don't want to be like super aggressive about it. I feel like I'll be too aggressive, and then people will be like, "Oh, you're not being bossy.
Let
you're
me
being
establish the relationships with people, and you.
So I'm like, Blake, you should give this guy a call.
You know what? This is why I was so excited to have you on the podcast, because I feel like as we've had. As we've tried to move the podcast away from being such a sausage party, and we've gotten way more like female perspective on things. That was one of the things that I never even thought of. Like that, I don't want to like call myself woke to it now, because I think I've got a long way to go. Yeah, but it's like. Yeah, there is this. I have so many friends who are girls, women in the music industry, and they're like, look, the second that I try to apply any pressure or do the exact same thing that like my guy bandmates would do, all of a sudden it's not me being savvy anymore. It's not me, like being authoritative. It's me being a bitch.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, that's got to stop. Like,
yeah,
that's so defeating to even want to go try something, knowing that there's going to be that sort of a pushback. Like, what has that been like for you as you guys have sort of navigated the Southeast sort of scene? Have you experienced a lot of that?
I have experienced a lot of it within our band.
Interpersonally.
From past members where like, and it sucks because you do all that work. You book this whole tour, and you confirm and solidify all these details, and you're like really proud of it. Like when you book a tour, like you're proud, you're stoked. Like
it's
we
no
did that
small thing
on our own, and it took like 3 months to do, and here we go. It's the day before, and it's like, I'm calling up everybody, like trying to scrounge up a last minute practice or a photo shoot, and everyone's like you handle that. Like, don't tell me what to do. Like, why are you being a bitch? Like literally. And it's like, we did all this. Like the least you could do is just, I don't know, be part of the band. Like just show up and play. And I'm literally asking nothing of you, but I would still asking anything. I was always painted as the bad guy. But I set high expectations for myself, so I set them for people that I work with. Yeah, and Blake's really the only person I've ever met that met those. So that's why we're still a team. But it definitely happened a lot. And a lot more now that I think about it, and with like so many women coming out talking about stuff, and like the Me Too, and like there's definitely been more stuff looking back that I wish I'd spoken up or like addressed it differently than I did at the time.
Yeah,
because it's easier to do it now. But playing out, like, of course, like when we play, people will be like, "Oh, are you I need it's a $10 cover, ma'am. Like if you're here with the band, we don't let girlfriends in." It's definitely still a thing.
What?
Or like, "Oh, you're the keyboardist." Like that. It's not as much, but it does still happen sometimes. I almost fought a guy in Arizona, our sound guy. I was ready to go to jail.
What?
Because
Tell me about this. What's going on here?
Well, we just went on this like 6-week tour 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And we played some West Coast dates for the first time. And we were playing in Tempe, and the bar was really cool. It was like our first night in Arizona. It was like exactly how you'd think it would be. I don't know. It was like a real
Is it your
good
first
vibe.
time playing this club?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. We got up there to set up, and we were setting up all our stuff, and we're a little bit more complicated, obviously because we have way more electronic stuff going on, but like we try to be as self-sustainable as possible. Like we bring all our own extra cables and our own DIs and
You try to make it simple for the sound guy.
Yeah. It's pretty much just, hey, can you just turn some stuff on and hang out till we're done, I guess. And, Yeah, this guy was just telling Blake, like, you don't know what input you're doing. You don't know what that is. And I was trying to sound check my drum pad, and he was like, you need drums. You need your drum pad in the monitor. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, what do you want? Your vocals in the monitor too? And I was like, honest to God, I was like, yeah. And I was literally on stage, and I was like, I don't know if it was so hot that day, and this guy was like testing me, and I was like, listen, dude, like the idea is that we can hear ourselves.
Who is this guy? And I bet you're gonna want your vocals in the monitor like, too. God.
Yes, like that's the idea, that you could actually like hear what you're playing so that you play it well. And then like he was just, it was weird.
It was, right? Because he was like, no bands ever want drums in their monitor. I'm like, yeah, because they have a drum kit on stage. They could probably hear it 1 foot behind them.
Yeah.
You know? And the monitor with the vocals, I mean, you know.
But how fucking hard is it to turn aux 1 up?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand, like, why, like, this is not a fight about what I want. I'm just telling you what I want. How would you know any better than me what I need?
So this is what happened. So we were trying to play some of our tracks through, and it was just, the volume was like super low in the monitors. I'm like, can we, we're pointing up. We're like, hey, can we get some more of this and this? We're pointing at the wedge and up, the universal sign for more, please. And
he's like, oh, they're going to ask me what my favorite cloud is next.
and it was like, it was maxed out. Right. So I told, we were there with our tour manager, Aaron, and I'm like, Aaron, can you go to the van? Can you go grab the speakers?
Yeah.
She literally goes out to our van and brings in our PA speakers. We set them up on the stage, plug our stuff into those speakers, and then play. Because we obviously can't run into the
And the sound guy, he was so seething mad.
Oh,
he just he turned like a bunch of your stuff off and just left.
He did.
He just dipped. And we just played the rest of the set like in this really weird hybrid of a setup.
Yeah.
That is so crazy.
It was really strange. And then this other band that we put on that was supposed to be like a really big band there. He, it didn't tell anyone that he had a show. So no one came to see him. And then he's, thanks so much for the practice. Really appreciate it. It was like, I was tested that night.
I don't understand why, like, because I think that's true for a lot of bands that are touring, especially like within your local scene. Like if you know that you have a draw and another band is like, has done the research, it's like, you would be a good fit for this show. Like we checked out your music. We think you're cool. Like we're not embarrassed to play with you. Please check ours out. You go through like building this relationship with this person. And then all of a sudden you show up and it's like, they didn't give a shit. What? Why? How is that ever a good move? Like in any universe?
No. It's not a good move. It's also not a good move to then hit us up asking for a show trade. Also, or like immediately after.
Oh no!
You mean like that band in Dallas?
It's happened a lot.
This one band, like you said, one band we put on, they had double booked themselves.
Yeah,
that same night.
They're supposed to headline. They're a big band.
Yeah.
And then they wanted to go first because they had another show. And we were like, well, the idea is since you are local and you have a draw,
you keep people here
that you would play last.
Yeah.
And we would open for you. And he's like, well, we would rather just go ahead and go first to get over with because we have another show tonight and no one's coming to the show anyway because we have them all coming to the other. And
oh my God.
I need to write a coffee table book of just quotes of stuff that's said to us because it's pretty bizarre.
Yeah.
And then do you remember when we played in Nashville? It was like our first time in Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
And we found all these bands and they were like 70,000 likes on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
And just like, we were like, man, this Nashville show is going to be so good.
Yeah.
Like, what? We're going to like, maybe it'll sell out even. Like, can you imagine? And then we get there and it's like, this guy is like giving us a hard time because we won't put his wife on the list because we're trying to like pay the overhead to the sound guy. And we're like, Kate, you got people coming out. It's, starting soon. And they're like, oh yeah, no, this is our first show. We really appreciate it. And we're like, oh, cool. Like you've not played this venue. That's great. Like, awesome. We're playing this venue together for the first time. And he's like, oh no, this is like our first show ever. And I'm like, well, how do you have 70,000? How did you get all those fans? And he's like, oh yeah, we bought them. Like you have to do that in Nashville. It's like everything on social media was a lie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And,
okay, so we have a lot of friends in the Nashville music scene. And we went through that whole thing because, like, when we got signed in college, one of the label bases that they had was in Nashville. So we spent a bunch of time there, hated it, every single minute of it. It was like we were only there to make records, but it was exactly that kind of stuff over and over and over again. I totally feel you. It's disheartening. It's heartbreaking. It's crushing to feel like you have presented yourself, but you only look like something online. You're not even something online. Like,
and
it's all fake.
They weren't even like bad. Like they were a good band.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, I hate to see that. Like if because they were good, they could have earned those.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. That's a big pet peeve of mine. I just hate it. I hate it when bands like cut corners to like get ahead, because it's just like people can see through that. And especially like if no one's coming to your show and you have 70,000 likes, like,
yeah.
Because you're talking to bands that are actually out there working. They're actually building a fan base, that are taking their fans seriously, that are not the people showing up to a show being like, oh, well, what I don't understand is like you must think so little of everyone else that you play with to think that you can bogart everyone's fan base and that's how you'll get to the top, or that's how you'll get attention, or you'll make it to the next level. It's like, no, it's working with other bands. And you please speak to this experience because I know you guys have had it, but it's like, it's working with other bands. It's bringing your crowd out, like for you, and allowing somebody, it's a niceness to allow someone to be a part of a crowd that you helped cultivate. And like when they don't realize that, or they don't respect that, it's like, why do they think that you're going to invite them back? Why do they think that you're going to do show trades? Why do they think that you're in any way going to help them out if you're just giving that impression?
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of that kind of etiquette is lost, for the most part. Of from other bands, and I don't know, it's happened more times to us than I could even mention, just being on tour, and it always leaves us kind of confused after we walk away. We're driving away to the next city, and we're like, that was weird how they work in that
absolutely.
town. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, like the way I think about show trades is like when we have bands that come play with us in Columbia or even anywhere in South Carolina, I want bands to come because I know that like our fans will like them. It's like, I can't wait to share these bands with our fans, because I know that they're going to walk away with new fans. And that should be the mentality totally, that you're like cross promoting with your friends and stuff. So
yeah.
It's weird that I don't know why you wouldn't want to.
Because you want the same thing to happen when you go and play with them, and you're just extending that courtesy, really.
I love it. Yeah, I'm sorry you've had those experiences. I know every band has them.
It's
that's
like
why I
the
think they're
normal
important
for us.
to talk
It's
about.
not even like it's an adventure in it now.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
Things that make you say,
So there's a lot of these moments when you're in a band, like you're experiencing this kind of shit day in and day out. People taking advantage of you, people trying to bogart your fan base, like all this weird interpersonal dynamics that you have with other bands, and like touring and like there's a whole nother side of that with touring and like being in new places every night and navigating all this stuff. It wears on you after a while. And one of the things that like, I feel like this is true for me, and I think it's probably true for a lot of other people that have followed your career, specifically like in the Carolinas and like your hometown, is like that you're still doing it, and that you've been doing it for so many years, and that your music progressively keeps getting better, that you keep reinventing yourself. How do you, what is the thing that's driving that? Because it's so much easier to just say, we're done. People are shitty. The world's awful.
Well, I think for every 10 shitty shows, there's one good one.
Yeah.
And the one good one usually makes up for it. Like right after we played that show in Tempe, we played San Francisco. And it was like a really good turnout. There were people singing along with our songs. And we never even played there before. And then like we sold a lot of merch, and like the energy was right. And it's kind of like, I don't know. It seems like you sometimes get nods from the universe that it's like, they're like looking out. Something's looking out for you. It's like maybe you're kind of are on the right track. There's just like bumps in the road.
Yeah.
But I mean, I definitely think that you have to go through that stuff to like become a better musician. Like I feel like in our most recent like stuff on our new EP, and even like a song we just wrote last weekend, we would have never written it unless we've been done dirty and taken advantage of and stuff. I don't know. It all kind of.
And I mean, we can't lie either. There's been those low moments, over the course of this entire musical career, where we've questioned and thought, is it worth it to even try to book another
tell
tour?
Tell me a time where you were ready to give it up.
Jana knows for sure.
Last week. I'm not even kidding. No, like, I don't know. Like we just did this long tour, and we were, we were finally working with, like, we had like a little team going. We had like a manager and booking agent and stuff. And we just we thought everyone was on the same page, and came time for our EP to come out. And we realized not everyone really had our best interests in mind. And that EP was like several years in the making. We finally like fired members that we realized were just ruining our lives.
This is Ritual?
Yeah.
Okay.
We, that EP it was a big deal for us, because it was like our first release as a duo, and we had just overcome a lot as a band. And the day that EP came out was just like a really bad day for us. I mean, because we were all, me and Blake and Aaron, like we were all in the van, and like we all woke up that day just like grumpy, and like it was just a weird vibe.
What was robbing you of the joy of that? That's a big day for any artist. You put so much work.
I mean, there was so much pressure, and you'd start to daydream about things that could happen and this and that, and sometimes it doesn't work out like that. But it felt like we were kind of a little, not doomed, but like it felt, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
The universe felt tilted against you.
Exactly. And so it didn't feel right. We almost we had a serious talk about just pulling the EP and waiting and not even releasing it, and trying to buy time to like figure things out. Cause it was a dark couple weeks for us. But then the EP came out, but then it started, I guess it had a soft release or whatever you want to say.
But like, what were the things making it dark? I know that that's personal. It's also something I'm interested in.
Well, I just, for me, with our team, I felt like I had finally found people that I was paying that had the same vision as me and believed in us. And, it felt very much like they were just we were just a stepping stone. We were just another band. It didn't feel as, I don't know.
Like they were as invested.
Yeah, as I thought they were. Yeah. So I felt very betrayed by that. And in my mind, that snowballed to just be like questioning everything and then doubting everything I'd done. And it was just, I undid so many things in my mind that I was like super confident about. And that started me on like this pretty fast downward spiral. And like when we got back from tour, like I gave up some of my shifts at work, and like that launched me into like a pretty bad depression and everything. And I was ready to definitely quit the band. Only until recently, like we just had a weird kind of plot twist happen, and we ended up writing a song out of nowhere, and it's really good. we're pumped about it. And so, yeah, I mean, this is super recent. So it's like, so we don't really know what's in the future, but we're still writing, and there's something still driving us to write. So I feel like I can't prevent that.
Can I just like thank you for being honest about that? Because I feel like you and I are probably kindred spirits in that way. Yeah. It does feel like I've thought about this so much. This is where I get this terminology that it does feel like the universe is tilted.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I can't get anything to work right. I can't get anything to fire on all cylinders. Everybody that I put a little bit of trust in that I think I might be able to work with, it'll fall apart. And I'm so.
But it's not you.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It's like, but you start thinking to yourself, like maybe it's me. And like, of course, like I have things I should improve on. Everybody has things that they need to improve on. But then at the same time, it's like, well, is the relationship toxic? And you go back and forth like, yeah, there are definite signs. So maybe it is, but maybe I'm also kind of full of shit too. And like, and then and then it's so maddening. And of course, like it spirals out of control. And then before you know it, it's like, that's why our band broke up.
Yeah.
Like, that's why we broke up. It was all of that. It was interpersonal conflict. It was like dealing with just the shit of life. And when you're in a band, it's on steroids. Like everything that goes wrong for normal people, when you're in a band, it happens to you in your most vulnerable situation every day.
Yeah.
Like in front of people. And so like, I completely, I think that I relate completely to what you're saying, because I've been there. And the thing that made me so happy when you mentioned this was like, it doesn't matter what's going wrong in my life. It doesn't matter how shitty things get. It doesn't matter if I'm losing everything. A song will happen.
Yeah.
And as soon as I have a song I'm proud of, as soon as I demo something that I just feel like it might not even be for the world, it might just be for me. I needed to say these things.
That's exactly verbatim what I said to him after we did the song.
I love
verbatim.
that.
Yeah, I know. Because I was like, where did this song come from? Like, I feel like it happened to us, not that we wrote it. Because I don't know. It was just I just had this really weird clarity, and a lot of things I was going through, I was able to communicate into the song. So
yeah,
I don't know. Isn't that the point of it to begin with? You're trying to communicate things that you can't always. It's hard to deny that. I don't want to prevent that. I want to keep writing because, as soon as you do that, you're like, well, then what else could I write? And like, what else? Because I do feel like you said, like things, all these things are tilted against you, because it's felt like that for our band since the start. It feels like we always like, I came up with this like metaphor the other day, but it feels like we've been always so close to these like big breaks and big life-changing moments. And it's like, not that we've been like knocking on doors and they were closed or locked or there were no's. It was like the doors were always open. We were just like tripped on the way. And so that's the kind of thing where, I don't know, it just feels like eventually it'll tilt right.
It was the witch's curse.
Or it also, and here's a good segue. And then here we get to this. I do feel so like, because my life has been so shitty over the past, all of it.
Can I quote you on that?
Yeah. So Blake's like the other day, he's like, you ever thought that maybe you're cursed? And I was like, not till now, but like now that you mention it, probably. And so I started actually researching it, because I'm into that stuff anyway. But I don't know, it's a strong possibility. And so then it just this serendipity that like cupping therapy is a really big thing on the West Coast, and like they just started offering it in like Colombia. And I read that like, well, it's like an ancient medicine and stuff, but it was also originally used to like draw out evil spirits and like bad juju. So I was like, I got money to throw at that. Let's go for it. And so I had that done like early last week, and then we got like asked to play Warped Tour the next day, like got a really interesting email, and then we wrote the song.
What?
So like I just booked another appointment because I'm trying to see like what's
if there's any other bad juju
this is
left.
real. This is a real story, like 100%.
Oh my gosh. And people
and then
are
Aaron,
like,
I was like, Aaron, like, you want to like, let's have a spa day and like rid this juju out of our bodies.
Because it was last week. We were like Googling how to remove curses. Like who do we need to get in touch with?
Alexia, find me an exorcism.
There's so many different articles floating around the internet right now that are like 3 reasons your band's not going anywhere. You got to get Spotify on point. You got to do social media, this and that and the other thing. And if you follow all of those things,
you don't have time to write songs.
First of all, you don't have time to do the thing you really love to do, and you end up an incredibly shitty shell of a person. In my opinion, I've seen it happen. I've done it myself. Yeah. Like, I speak from experience, and really, it just needs to have one word: cupping. Check it out.
But not
link below.
But be careful when you Google
cupping.
Be careful when you Google cupping. Make sure that you follow it. Make sure that it's followed with cupping therapy or cupping massage, right. And even then, a safe search probably should be on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I feel like such a homeschooler right now because I didn't know it's got to be some sort of weird sexual thing, and I just don't know about it.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, I'm
2
sure.
winks if yes.
Not what I got. I'm sure the internet. I think cupping can lead to something dark on the internet, but no.
A friend of ours actually does cupping, and so she's done it to me a couple times. It just did nothing but pull out vodka. It all just
and you just like
back.
Poured it over ice and drank it again.
Exactly. I was like, this is amazing. We're gonna save money at the ABC store.
We'll just reuse these toxins,
Right. No, but it was I definitely did not have the experience that you had.
I mean, it could be this could all be total bullshit.
It could, but it's kind of fun to believe that there's something to it.
Yeah, it's nice to have a daydream.
Yeah. But I literally looked like I had been through a fight the first time I had done it. Yeah. It was scary. like my wife held up a mirror to my back and she was like, there's like Horcruxes in there like trying to come out. So yeah, that's crazy. So is this like the culmination of the witch story that?
Well, maybe she's the one that cursed me.
Do you think she did though? Because she was so happy after the show.
I don't want to ask her.
Now, can you go like extra cups, like bigger cups, or is there a size? Do bigger cups help? Is what I'm asking.
Do you
like? I can tell if you're digging yourself a hole.
Yeah,
you're just like the greatest comedian of all time.
I feel like you want to talk about something else.
No. I was going to ask if cup size mattered.
Oh, are you talking about the coffee place?
Oh.
No, I get it. I get it, but it's a good transition to talk about bikini beans.
Oh, yeah, I do remember
there
that.
There are coffee shops in the desert where all the women are dressed in bikinis, and the cup sizes for the drinks are like AA, B, C, double D.
Oh, that's interesting. Took about this much thought for someone to go.
Yeah, but the coffee is actually really good, and it makes me mad.
Oh, that's sad.
I wanted to hate it, but I was really kind of impressed.
That you have to use sexuality to sell coffee. We're going to drink the coffee whether or not there are naked people around it.
Well, we I don't know if did we get the full experience by going through the drive-thru? Because I mean we might have. But so I'm pulling up to the drive-thru here and I see the menu.
Yeah.
And the girl comes out, then she gets in front of between me and the menu, and I'm trying to look at the menu.
This is like a Hooters Starbucks?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's very accurate. Yeah. So I'm trying to look at the menu to see what I can order.
Right.
And I can't look around her.
Yeah,
like
she
everywhere
just,
I go.
She just like puts her boob on the window, and Blake's like, "Do you guys roast your own beans?" Like he doesn't even care.
I'm trying to ask about fair trade organic.
She's like white snake on the hood, and he's like,
"Oh my god,
how much for a double shot?" Like it's. He didn't even acknowledge it.
Okay, so I've followed some of what you guys do on the internet, and every time I feel like I actually see some of these small wins that you guys have. Warped Tour, being able to play that the final year, that's awesome. We had one of the guys on here who handles all the merch for Warped Tour. He was on the podcast a few months ago, like actually at the beginning of the year. He's pretty stoked too because everybody's kind of expecting it to be like a bigger turnout than what the previous few years of Warped Tour have been. That's been awesome. You guys also did South by. You had some amazing articles. Like you had some really cool like fans and industry folks like looking at you, seeing not that industry folks matter in the big scheme of things. Like they're not going to move the needle on why you're passionate about writing songs and being in a band.
Yeah.
But every band goes through those moments where it's like, oh my God, this thing could be life-changing. This decision could be life-changing. And I feel like everybody who's been in a band and taken it seriously and gotten to that moment has also heard 100 no's for every yes that they hear. What was your South by experience? I'm really interested in that.
We've played South by
past 4 years, I think. Yeah.
And South by is really cool. It's the first year you're thinking, this could be, you don't know, it could be a huge opportunity or, you never really know. But we found that it's, you don't know who you're playing for, which is kind of, it makes we walked away with that being better musicians, better performers, I think, because you don't know who's there. And
right.
We've learned, like, we've always had like this kind of hyper hustle with things, but like when we played Warped Tour a few years ago, we played a Pennsylvania date, but we realized like kind of the way that we do things, it made sense there. Like it felt like we were in the right place.
Like you guys made sense on Warped.
Yeah, and then when we were at South by, it felt like we made sense again. But South by is really interesting for like networking. We've met a lot of bands that we are really good friends with and that we play shows with and that I help like them route and book some of their stuff. We all met at South by. So they're like spread out. So then it's really useful when you're doing tours and you're needing any kind of advice about anything. I love playing South by.
Yeah. I mean, like Jana said, the hustle is there.
Yeah.
And you notice it because, I mean, 6th Street especially, you got like a mile of street, bars on either side, on each story, 2 stories, and there's music playing in every single bar. You can imagine that kind of cacophony of sounds as you walk, you know.
I love that you use the word cacophony.
You got it.
That's great. Cacophony beans.
Yeah.
Cacophony beans.
So seeing that and seeing the hustle everywhere you go, someone's handing you a CD, handing you a flyer, come to my showcase, you know, and you're like, okay, people are out here and they're doing it. They're trying to get you in to see them because
it's fucking stressful because everybody's like, this could make it or break it. They literally, like, within this 48 hours, they're like, this could be my life trajectory, or I could end up shooting up heroin in a street corner somewhere.
And it was actually the first
one or the other,
right?
No in between.
Well, like I feel like that's the kind of pressure people put on themselves. It's like, come on, do we really need to do your thing? You do your thing, and you do your thing well. People will like it. Like, you can't control what's going to happen. Like, I don't know. I was always of the impression that, like, when we had, I found it so exhausting. Like, I was a hustler just like that. Like, but I was also really terrified at talking with people and talking to people because I have a hard time forming my thoughts sometimes. And so for me, the podcast has kind of been therapy for that because I've never been awesome with people. And it's like, I just feel like you actually do worse work whenever you're stressed out about, like, when you put all this pressure on, like, I have to hand this CD to the right person. I have to make the right impression. I have to buy the right person a drink. Nashville's that a 24/7. It's always like your self-worth is so tied up in this tiny moment in time. And you're worth so much more than that. Your joy is worth so much more than handing it off to everybody that you're trying to get the attention of. I don't know if that was your experience or not. But I'm just kind of waxing philosophical.
I think that's really come full circle for us too, because we realize that, you know, if someone's going to be interested in you, if you're doing the right things, they'll come to you.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't have to stress yourself out about.
But I think our best shows have been when we don't care.
Exactly.
Like, it's always been like, you know, fuck it. Let's just have a good time. And then we've always, like, just been it's been more fulfilling. Like, we just played in Atlanta last week, and not that we didn't care, but you mean, like, it was like, I didn't, like, we could sell merch, we could not sell merch. Like, I wasn't trying to, like, you know, sell anything from the stage. I just was like there to, like, enjoy it and play because we hadn't played in 2 months. We went through so much stuff, like, and I was just like, I just want to enjoy playing these songs that I wrote as therapy. And, like, so, and that show was amazing and incredible. And now we feel, like, different.
Because you're self-actualizing. You're figuring out how to make it fun for you. Like, you got into a band because you loved it.
Yeah.
Like, why do we? I guess I'm actually projecting because I go through that too.
Well, and it's. I think it's impossible to not get, like, obsessive, especially when you're like booking your own shows and you're managing all your stuff on your own.
Yeah.
You do come across the articles, like, what you can and can't do to be better, and you know, these top 10 ways to get booked here, top 5 ways to, you know, get signed, this and that, and then you're provided all the information, and it makes you start questioning things. But it also, like, I'm obsessed with, like, statistics and strategy and planning. So, like, for me, I'm always, like, picking apart things that we've done, trying to figure out how we could have done it better. And when we play a bunch of conferences and stuff, and trying to network, and and then there was, like, a couple of years that we didn't write anything because we were obsessed with networking and meeting people and appearing a certain way, and we were so busy doing all that we didn't have, there was no time to write any music. So
when are you happier?
I feel like I'm most happy right after we've written a song, right after we've demoed a song.
Yeah.
Because in that moment, it's like a fixed, I don't know how to
equilibrium again.
Well, no, not like fixed in that way. I mean, like, the potential of that song is, like, in a fixed space where it's, like, either bombed or done well, and, like, anything could happen, and just kind of basking in that. Like, I like that. That's like the dream, because I don't know, I don't think I could do this if I can't visualize the future of it, you know? I don't know. That might not make sense.
No, I think it does, but I think it's complicated.
It's super complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel best when I'm created something that's honest.
I think that's true. That sounds like truth to me.
I mean, that's so simple, but I really feel like that when, like, there's no team, there's no music industry person, there's no other band members. It's something that was, like, from me.
Yeah.
to whoever else needs it.
Yeah.
That's the point.
So maybe that's the same feeling that you get after you just play a show honestly. Like in that same way, you don't care. It's
for no other 100%. Motive.
Yeah.
I feel like we've definitely hit on that on the podcast over and over again. And I love sort of repeating it, that it's like so much of what we do as bands is to build up this image of ourselves, is to constantly be honing the image, refining the image, making it more accessible, trying to entice people to it. You know, it's peacocking. It's like being in a band is like, you can't just do a shitty job at all these different things and expect anything to happen. You have to take it seriously. You have to put time and effort and discipline into it. But then at the same time, the more that you kind of hold this ego and this image of what the band is out in front of you and start to believe it about yourself, the more miserable you are. You're happiest when you are, for me, I'm happiest when I'm just me writing those songs that I feel like, oh my God, I finally said something important to me. I finally told myself the truth. It feels really fucking good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, yes, I 100% feel that.
It's certainly like a delicate balance. I've definitely played my share of shows where I'm like, just got to be on. Just got to be like, oh my God, like, come on. just be ready to connect, you know, like with anyone, with anything, like just whatever. And it's like, you know what, that actually is not me. Like, I'm kind of introverted. Be a little introvert. Like for me, like I'm happiest playing shows and the shows have gone well when it's like, I'm just me. I don't expect you to think that I'm anything. I'm just going to kind of be me for a minute. And if you connect with it, awesome. And not everybody does all the time. But God, when they do, you're sharing something genuine. You're not sharing some vaudeville sort of like thing with people, you know, like some premeditated, like, I don't know, Fox special or something like that would play on Saturday nights. Like you're sharing something genuine. I have to imagine that excites you, that connection.
Yeah. And you've always loved just the spontaneity of it, really. You know, just having those kind of organic moments.
I don't like when we first started playing shows, you know, everyone's like, you know, you make sure that you're writing out where in the set you're going to talk and what you're going to say and write this script out exactly of how you're going to word everything.
Right,
and, like,
right.
I hate that.
Yes.
I hate that because when we've played with bands and they give their speech and it's really awkward when they're given that same little script to a room of no one. Because it's like they're not even acknowledging that there's no one. Like, you don't even have to do it. Like, unless they're trying to practice it. But it's like, acknowledge. You know, if we're playing a room to 2 people, I'm going to call out those 2 people. Like, we're playing that show to those 2 people. Yeah. I'm not going to, like, introduce the band. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just so, and I hate it. I hate it when bands introduce the members. That's like, I die inside. I don't know why. It's just like totally obviously killing time because they don't have another song.
Well, especially if they're introducing to the 2 people, they're like,
yeah,
hey, I know both of you. But,
when you could just walk off the stage and introduce yourselves to those 2 people because they're like 3 feet in front of you. I don't know. But I don't like really planning. And then, but also then sometimes our transitions are super awkward because sometimes I don't have anything to say at all. Which, you know, that's our problem. But I don't know. I don't ever like to plan it. And because you never know what's going on in the world or like what you might have gone through that you can share or like anything that's relevant. And yeah, I just feel like each show should be organic and personal because I don't want someone. Because people follow tours and stuff, and like I wouldn't want to follow a tour where the artist is saying the same thing every night, the same speech to the same people every night, because it doesn't have any meaning anymore.
Yeah, I think people have seen the speeches for so long that they just tune it out. They just don't care. I don't know. It's also like I actually really like that. I like that approach because I feel like it seems like you enjoy showing respect for people by not adhering to the script. You're like, you know what? You're a person. You're not like a demographic we're trying to win with the script or with the perfect
I don't want to
set.
look at people as statistics. I don't want to be like, you know, you are a number in the head count that was here tonight. And like, okay, let's move on. How can there be more of you? Like, I would rather meet these people and like know who they are and like know why they like our music. Like, what is it about it? And grow that. Yeah,
because we did that before. And from doing that, we ended up gaining super fans.
And we don't have a lot of fans now, and we don't have a lot of numbers on our Spotify and stuff, but all of our fans are real and they're like people that we know. And I have their numbers in my phone and like they're real connections, even if it's small, which is more important, I think. Anyway.
I love this because I feel like we're in a band meeting.
Yeah.
That's so fun. So I know talking band business can become depressing. We lean into it too hard. So tell me this. This is one of the things we kind of cover on the podcast. What are your thoughts about God? Is there one? Did you grow up in a religious household? Did you not? That's one of the things we always kind of find really interesting because we've had such a weird, tumultuous past with all of that stuff.
Yeah. I think there's something. I believe that there is like a spirit or an energy or a guide or a God of some sort that controls things. Because I believe, I don't know, I believe in energy and vibes, but like I believe in I believe in spirituality probably more than like a fixed religion. That's my personal. I mean, I grew up in a religious house.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's just stuff out there that's like there's undeniable that there's something at work.
Did you
bigger
grow
at
up
work.
like Catholic or?
No, my parents were Methodist,
Okay.
so I grew up in South Carolina.
Yep.
And
I didn't want to assume, even though it's pretty probable that
South
we kind of
Carolina.
had similar.
But yeah, I don't know. I think there's been too many like moments of serendipity that have happened to me that it doesn't. It seems like something there's something bigger out there for sure.
Like some sort of design to it, or
yes and no.
Like sure.
Yeah. Yes
Yeah,
and no.
yeah.
I think I'm not sure yet. I'm still still evolving my
I love that. Why does my body release a chemical that makes me feel like something is serendipitous? And what is my environment? Why do I have an environment tuned to that? Why am I tuned to that in my environment? Like those are the questions that I have. Why do I have deja vu? Why does some days I wake up and I feel such purpose and meaning and conviction and power, and then some days I wake up and I'm like, just gonna fucking not do anything. Nothing's worth anything, and why am I here? I think that's a really human thing.
Yeah.
Like, but I love it because everybody's on that spectrum at some point, like throughout the day, and everyone's explaining it in a different way. And so, Blake, you haven't said anything about that?
Yeah, I was a baptized Baptist, and after my parents divorced, then we actually started going to a Lutheran church from there when we were actually living in Greensboro in North Carolina.
Nice.
For me, I see, like Jana said, I see so many things that make me think that there is something bigger out there, something greater, some sort of creator. And just recently, I like to listen to Coast to Coast AM a lot.
Yeah.
And they talk about all sorts of things. And one person they were interviewing said that physicists can really, right now, there is like 90% of the universe that physicists can not perceive, nor our instruments can perceive.
Right. And
to me, like, I know there's something out there.
Yeah.
There's definitely something there. I mean, no.
Please tell me you're an X-Files fan.
Oh, definitely.
Huge.
Definitely.
Huge. We've had a conversation. How can we get Dave Duchovny in a video? Like,
What?
I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
Obsessed. I love X-Files.
If he survives that long, like next time I see him, we're not going to be able to see his eyes.
No!
Just like, his forehead is falling over his eyes so quickly.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an X-File.
Yeah. Why are you not writing for the show?
I don't. I
The
ask myself a
disappearing
lot.
man. No.
I didn't
No.
even care if it was good. I was like, Dana and Fox are back at it. I'll watch it.
We haven't seen the last episode.
Yeah.
Don't tell us.
I won't.
The new.
I won't.
But
The
the new
new.
season.
Okay.
Yeah. But I just watched that the other day. No, I'm obsessed. I love X-Files. I love ghosts. I love scary things. I love all that stuff.
Oh my gosh,
Spirits,
we're
all
kindred
that.
spirits. I watch horror movies all the time, but just not because I'm not like, I don't know. I feel like there's some people that are kind of weird that are into,
Well,
horror.
like taking notes and
Yeah,
stuff.
and
Yeah.
they're like, you don't want to be like peeing next to them at Comic-Con, but like there's so many other there's something about like horror movies that like for me it feels like riding on a roller coaster, but I'm terrified of heights, so I don't have that. So I know I'm not going to die, but I love this feeling of kind of being like cornered, but it's still okay. I don't know if I'm working something out internally or
it's exhilarating because you're on this high because you're like living through the the actors and the characters. So you're like super close to death, but not really.
Yeah.
So, and you're escaping whatever they're escaping. It's like you're in the. I love horror movies. I watch it. I love like special effects, makeup, and all that, and like real stuff, not like CGI. But yeah.
Did you see the newest Evil Dead remake that came out? Oh my god, I saw it in theaters like 3 times. Because I was a huge fan of like the original one with Bruce Campbell and
but no, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, live your best life.
Yeah, I need to watch.
That's awesome. Cool. So tell me a little bit about Columbia. Tell me about your perception of that music scene right now. Don't burn any bridges, but be honest about your thoughts about it.
We've always had an interesting relationship.
Is it complicated?
With Columbia, it is very complicated. Because on one hand, we feel like we live there, we play shows there, we write music there, But in a sense, we're also distant from it.
Okay. We're not like embraced.
Maybe so.
Not by the music community so much itself. We definitely have like a fan base there and everything, and there's support. But we have always felt kind of like outsiders.
Definitely. And maybe not so much just outside of everything, but just in a different lane that we're just maintaining, parallel to what's going on. Not wholly separate, but just parallel that's, also there. And and for that,
Well, and I don't know if it's because we're from Myrtle Beach, and then we moved to Columbia. So we're like, we didn't grow up in that scene. We didn't grow up with those people. So we were just like kind of jumped into it. So maybe that's, I don't know.
I feel like you guys have been in Columbia for a while though.
Yeah.
Like you put in the time. If there's if there's a time that you could spend with someone and end up family, I'm pretty sure you've passed that mark.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that the music that we've always made in Columbia,
we're like exchange students,
is very different. Yeah. The music that we make there is very different from the kind of music other bands make there. And it's not for lack of trying. It's just that it's just not what.
Do you feel like everybody's kind of more into indie rock, or what's their thing?
Yeah. It just
comes in waves. It used to be very Americana, and then it was like there was like a bunch of chill wave stuff, and then it was back into like indie rock, and now it's kind of a mix, a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. But because of that, we had a tough time always finding bands to play with, because it would seem maybe too jarring or, not similar enough.
Yeah.
So our problem was that we couldn't find a lot of local bands to play with. So what we do is just our friends that we'd meet from out of town, and we ended up putting them on the show.
Absolutely.
Which is great because we got to expose them to Columbia, and they were able to gain fans that way. But one of the issues we've always had is that ability to get these bands to play. We've always wanted to. It's been difficult.
This is so interesting to me because because from the outside looking in, this is why I wanted to ask you the question, because I didn't want to like overspeak or overstep. But I was like, for us looking at a band like you guys, we always felt like, oh my gosh, like they have a hometown. Like they actually have a hometown and good shows there, and people must like them there. And the impression that we get is like, Columbia has fully embraced like what you guys are doing, and they're proud of you. And maybe that was like complete projection on my part, but we had none of that growing up. We had because we were closest to Greenville, because we grew up in a small town called Lawrence, right outside. You know where that is. Greenville just either didn't have a music scene, or they did not give a shit about our band. And there was nothing that we could do that was going to change that. I don't know. It was hard because it was like, you can't invite somebody from out of town to come do a show with you, or we couldn't, because we were like, nobody's going to show up. I remember going to a battle of the bands, and almost every single band that was there were so rude to us. And we had I don't know if it was like, I don't know what we did. I didn't talk to people enough for them to not like me. Like I was more standoffish.
It's like 100% relatable. I have people that hate me that I've never even met.
Right. Like why?
I don't know.
That's so sad.
Isn't it?
Yeah. We've had an awesome time. Look what they're missing out on, you guys.
I know. Yeah, I don't know. It's really weird. I wish I knew what we look like on the outside, because it's very weird for us too, because I don't know how we're perceived and stuff. But and I don't know too, because we've been around a lot longer than a lot of local bands, and maybe our newness wore off, or we just because we don't sound like everybody else. People are.
But because of that is the whole reason that really encouraged us to travel and tour more.
Yeah.
And, and
to get out of town.
Yeah. And luckily, Columbia is a pretty inexpensive place to live.
Yeah.
Is it still inexpensive?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
yeah, we tour a lot.
Helps.
We tour a lot. But in the past couple of years too, like we did have some people that we were having trouble getting booked some places all of a sudden. We had a fan base and we had a draw, and we're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? And we had some people in the music scene tell us, people that are booking those places, they weren't going to let us play there because they're trying to cultivate a specific sound, and that we don't have a South Carolina sound, so they didn't want us to play there because.
What is this?
But it's we're fucking from South Carolina, and like everyone forgets LaBouche or what? She's from Charleston. She's dead, but she wrote like freaking
Be My Lover.
Yeah, Be My Lover, like one of the top 90s
She's
dance
from
songs.
South Carolina?
She
Charleston.
is buried in Charleston.
You're blowing my mind
Yeah,
right now.
and it's like, don't tell me we don't sound like South Carolina. We write songs that are
First of all,
definitely inspired by 90s dance music.
Why are you deciding that you're the guy who gets to decide what the South Carolina sound is? How about every band that's making music in South Carolina is
Sounds
part
like
of the South Carolina
Yeah.
sound?
Yeah, after that, we kind of started, we stopped caring as much. We stopped caring. I mean, because it was
Good
like,
for you.
there's nothing. I mean, how do you fight that? It's like, how do you fight that? Because if you move away, that's fulfilling what they said.
Yeah.
If you don't live there anymore.
We're not going to change,
So-
what we want to write and sound like to fit some, curated sound,
I know it's like different for everybody, and I don't know what's the right thing for every band to do. Some bands do have success like moving to other towns. I'm kind of at this point in life right now where I'm like, you know what? I don't give a shit. I don't sound like any of you. The things that I write don't sound like any of you. Like, but I'm just as happy to be a part of whatever you're doing, even though I'm not into your music. I'm just happy that like we are here. Of all the places in the entire cosmos that we could be, you and I just so happen to be songwriters, and we're all here in these weird like mountains in Western North Carolina. And like, why can't we just get along? Like, I can learn a lot from you. Like, I've probably got some things I can show you how to do too. Like, I don't know. I'm just so much more in love with the process than I am in being like, there's so much divisiveness. Like,
Is that
why?
that happens here too?
Well, so like my experience specifically with the Asheville music scene has been pretty inviting. Everybody that I've played shows with up until now, I've never gotten any weird like ego stuff. I know that there are people from Asheville that are listening to this podcast right now, and they're like, oh, then you've never met so-and-so. I don't give a shit. You're right. I haven't. So I haven't had that experience. Everyone's been really nice. The shows are really fun. They're very kind. The crowds are pretty kind if they're people from Asheville. I mean, there's no way to really know what the crowds are going to be if it's like a weekend and it's nothing but tourists who like aren't, they're just kind of doing their thing. But overall, it's like really fun. And I feel proud to be here, to be making music with this group of people because there's so much talent and there's so much like camaraderie. Having said that, there are some assholes. There's some people that want to hoard it, or that they're like, no, we decide what this is, or like, you have to do this to fit in here and you have to do. But it's like, they don't really have a lot of friends. So like, what are you going to do? I'm not here to take your thing. I'm not here to like take your fans. Like, I don't think that you're here to take mine. I thought we were just here because we love creating music and we love sharing this experience with people. And sometimes people like it and sometimes they don't. And that's flipping a coin. It's the universe all over again. I don't know. Maybe that resonates. Maybe it doesn't. I would love for you guys to do a show here. I'd love for us to do a show together here.
From Asheville? Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. We haven't played. We've played Asheville only a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to play the auditorium so I can get a tarot reading.
Oh, wow.
Tarot readings in the palm.
Yeah. They always do the funnest shows at auditorium.
I've recently been talking to my brother, and he is in the process.
Oh, only recently?
Well, no. I didn't like recently reunite, but I've been talking about the specific thing where he is in the process of, hopefully, I don't want to jinx it, but probably.
Oh, you just did.
Yeah, I did. Hopefully securing me a Moog. And then I feel like I will then be a legitimate keyboardist after that, and then maybe
Is that what you need?
Maybe I don't know.
Because playing 5 on stage at once is not enough.
Well, the thing is, I just think that that maybe then it comes with a case, and I feel like that is everything else is just they're toys.
Have you been to the Moog factory?
No,
yet?
it's
I
haven't.
not safe for him there.
No.
Probably.
Probably not.
Yeah, you're gonna blow rent as soon as you walk in there. I get it. I mean, I just saw a video of, I think, Phanogram performing there, and it was I might have put it on repeat. Yeah. I love that. That's so much fun.
But I feel like I will then be like I will have made the step into the upper echelon of of synthdom,
cacophony echelon. What's he gonna come up with next?
I don't know, but once I can add it to my chamber of synth grits, so to speak,
don't hurt yourself.
then
You called them synth grits.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
that's kind of fun. I mean, you can look around. I'm a synth nerd. I just, and you know what? Most people aren't. Most people don't give a shit. Like our fans that listen to music, they're not like, oh my God, I can totally tell he didn't use analog. That's software synth right there. It's like nobody cares. Nobody cares. I do it for me because I love it.
Yeah.
Like, having said that, I will say touching an analog synthesizer is more of a spiritual experience than touching like a Rompler or like a digital thing. I don't know what it is. There's something about your body is made up of electrical fields. You are touching an electrical field, not just like this thing, sort of, a microchip crunching numbers and stuff. Like you for some reason, it feels like you become a part of it. And when you're moving things, you're expressing more of what's happening inside of you through the thing, as opposed to this, like, when it's not an analog synthesizer, it feels sort of cold and like you're detached from it. And like there's latency in the pots and like, anyway, there's nerd talk. But
it is you actually gain superpowers.
There's that too. Yeah, before you know it, you're at Professor Xavier's house, and he's like, "Can you throw synthesizers at the Bad Mutants?" Yeah. So we do this thing on the podcast called B1. Begin one, blow one, B1. Begin one, blow one, B1. B1, blow one, begin one. B1. Blow one, begin one. Davey's usually here for these podcasts, so he would be able to help me out here. So B1 is if you could go back in time and you could insert yourself as a crucial or critical member in any band, who would it be? Like if you wanted to be Gwen Stefani, you could just be the lead singer of No Doubt.
So would we live out their life? Or would it change the timeline?
I think you live it out the way that you want to live it out. This is your fantasy. This is but it's within the confines of this band.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be a band. It can't be like Abraham Lincoln.
Right. It has to be, okay.
Oh my God, though. You think Abe Lincoln would be into synths, though?
He might.
I don't know. He was kind of nerdy.
Yeah. I mean, he did have a beard.
He had a beard.
Yeah.
He's the ultimate Asheville synth player.
Yeah, top hat, beard. I mean,
top hat, beard.
Wow.
I've seen that show somewhere.
It's on Netflix.
Man, I don't know.
That's hard.
Yeah.
I would.
Well, it's also not real and imaginary. So the stakes are pretty
low.
low.
Commitment, though. Yeah. Like,
right.
I think maybe I would be Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo.
Okay,
myself.
that's a good one.
I think I would. I think I don't know. I think that the quirkiness and everything there, that would be just such an amazing moment.
What a fun legacy.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Not just because, like, just to stay within the confines of the band, but everything after.
Yeah.
Too. Just with such a legacy.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so glad that you picked that band. I don't know why. I wouldn't have even thought of them, but they're one of my favorites.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think I just saw him like as a guest appearance on Yo Gabba Gabba or something. And I was like, yes.
You want to go back in
That's
time
what
just
I
so
wanna
you get
do.
to that
I want to
moment?
be on Yo Gabba Gabba.
Oh, so you got to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
And go, wow. Wow. I would be Shirley Manson from Garbage.
Wow.
Yeah,
90s reference.
absolutely. I love Garbage. I love
That's
her.
a powerful figure.
I love her. Yeah, she's badass. I don't know. I felt like she, for me, was, and I just saw Garbage recently for the first time last year. Or maybe it was this year, recently, in the not so distant past.
Was Butch Vig with them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Drums.
Yeah. Okay. Because I thought he did all their records.
He does, and he did. Yeah, I want to say that maybe there was a guy that looked like him. But I feel like there is a memory of them saying he wasn't there because he was sick or something.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you're right.
I don't know. It was at the Fillmore. It was amazing though. But I didn't realize until that moment how much of an impact she'd made on me, just as overall, like as a woman in a band. Because I don't know. I just feel like until then, until like finding out about her and finding out about Garbage, I feel like every time I've seen a woman in a band, it felt like they were like using sex to sell. And it felt like she was using it to like attack. It was like a secret weapon of hers in her music.
Yeah.
And that was a cool thing to
I
me.
love that. That's awesome. The next one would be Blow One. So if you could take any band in the world and blow them up, stop them from ever becoming a thing.
Oh my God, just one band.
You could only pick one. And it can't be Nickelback because everybody says that.
Oh, okay.
And we also edit out all the waiting time.
That's what I'm thinking
So it'll
there.
sound like you guys were just like Shirley Manson.
I don't know. I might have to go with. I might actually have to go with like Captain and Tennille myself.
Okay.
What? That is
Interesting.
so random.
I know
Like,
I know it is, but you know,
how much it's spritz have you had?
No, you know, getting schlitz with the spritz, like I said.
It's like 4% alcohol. You would have had to.
Yeah, I would have had to like eat nothing for 3 weeks.
All of a sudden,
The altitude.
Wow.
But yeah,
It'll do
maybe that, but only because I have no chill anyway.
Okay.
So maybe that, you know.
You never operate on chill.
No.
That's awesome.
And it may be the spritz talking.
It may be. Maybe. For any of these answers, you reserve the right to change your mind. If somebody comes up to you at a show and they're like, I heard on that podcast that you guys said, just be like, we actually still reserve the right to change our mind because we're people.
I would say Rush.
Oh.
I love that one.
I get physically ill when I hear their music. I'm sorry.
Like on a molecular level,
like it hurts,
pulls you apart.
It hurts my blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just if I could not feel sick one last day.
That's so intense.
I don't know. I want to like them, but then I always can tell when there's Rush playing nearby.
You realize you're like in the house of like
I'm sorry.
synth bros.
I
in
know,
here.
but I just can't.
Yeah, but like I would consider myself a synth bro. There's nothing in me that connects with Rush. Like when I hear them playing, I just head in the other direction because whatever's happening around them or their band or the people that like them, I'm just not interested in it.
Yeah.
I just don't. It's his voice.
Is it?
It's just his voice. It just.
I'm sorry. Okay, so the last one is if you could begin one, you get to create a band right now with your ultimate lineup of musicians and you get to pick any one of them throughout history.
How many members?
It's your band, dude.
Yeah.
You decide how many times you're going to cut the paycheck.
Wait, are we also in this band?
If you want to be.
I don't know. I don't know.
thanks.
Yeah. Let's see. I think I would want to have.
You might be overthinking it.
I think so.
Yeah. Like literally just grab some of your faves and throw them in a band and be pleasantly surprised at the weirdness.
Yeah. Okay.
That didn't help at all.
I think I got it. Okay. I think I would like to have Daft Punk. But I think maybe just one.
Yeah.
One of them.
Just one. Guy Manuel.
Because they like draw straws?
No,
like
because
what?
I'd want to add a little tension there.
Oh!
You know what I mean? So
Oh my God.
Okay.
I can't wait for the rest of this band.
Okay. So with that, then I'd like to have Amy Winehouse singing.
Oh.
Okay.
Good one.
Okay. And then playing drums would be
Don't you
Justin
say it.
Timberlake beatboxing.
What?
But only
Love
him
this.
but only him beatboxing. Like like that.
Well, but probably better.
Bro, yeah, but
I thought that was pretty damn close.
Only his beatboxing as the beats, but like, and so we'd have that, and no, not that, not Bobby McFerrin. He's not in this one. And then Fat Man Scoop on like ad libs.
Okay,
just like womp womp. So he'd kind of be like the foil to the beatboxing from Justin Timberlake. See,
everything you said up to that moment, I thought, this guy is brilliant. I mean, this guy can think about music and history and just like link timelines and all kinds of crazy shit in his mind. And then all of a sudden, like, I just didn't get, yeah.
Well, there's always got to be the wild card. See?
There it is.
And then
there it is.
That's the X factor.
You're back in.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's how it works.
It's so good.
Wow.
Are you
A
nervous?
lot of pressure. I'm sweating a little.
Are you nervous? Because he had a really good one.
I'm sweating. The original drummer from Block Party.
Oh.
Indie darling.
He's so good. He's so good live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually saw them once and they had to cancel because his lung burst. It's brutal.
Shit. Sorry, dude.
It burst?
It just
collapsed. It blew up.
Most people's lungs rot.
Yeah.
No, his lung collapsed. His lung
it collapsed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not burst.
That's
Sorry.
not
My bad.
burst.
I thought we were playing burst one. Sorry, my bad. Wrong game.
They were playing a hold your breath underwater game and he won. But
damn it.
Also exploded his chest.
Don't keep any of this.
Okay.
I would do the original drummer from Block Party.
Okay.
I want members from The Faint there.
Yeah.
Also.
Okay.
And maybe Carly Rae Jepsen.
Oh, these are great.
And Andrew WK. There's my wild card.
There you go.
I love that wild card.
But he's the hype man only.
Oh
he's
God.
only.
Yeah.
Okay. Is he like the guy who just dances in Mighty Mighty Boss Stones?
He just cartwheels on stage.
Okay.
Back and forth.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right, you guys
so.
win.
I think I'd go.
You guys win. I mean, of everybody that's been on the show and has come up with bands, the creativity of theirs pales in comparison. So you definitely get that award if at some point we start giving out awards for that.
For what it's worth.
You get most creative band. And you know what? All you needed was just a couple minutes to get your thoughts together. You were so worried about it and you're just light years ahead of what everyone else has said. So yeah, that's awesome. Okay, cool. Well, we've totally done our time. Is there yeah. Is there anything that you guys that we didn't hit on that you guys want to share or talk about? We normally put album plugs and stuff on bookends or whatever. You feel good?
Yeah. We covered a lot.
Good. Yeah. We did cover a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. I love you guys. I hope you come back.
You
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Come back to North Carolina.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us this week on 11tylife. You can check out the latest material from Glass Mansions by just simply clicking on the show notes in the show notes of 11tylife. I get so much joy from just sitting down and having these conversations with people. I hope that before the day is over, you find something, even if it's a tiny, small, insignificant thing that nobody else in the entire world may think is important. I hope that you find joy in that tiny thing, whatever it is. I love y'all. See you next week.
11tylife is a production of Rock Candy Recordings.